Have you ever had to work with someone that you cannot stand? Like, literally, the thought of them makes you want to scream, you want to roll your eyes, you want to shake your fists in the air, or maybe shake your fist somewhere else. No violence. If you're like most people, if you're like most of my clients, and I've had to do it too, this is a great episode for you because we're going to dive into what you can do if you are stuck working with someone that you don't care for and how to convert that conflict into maybe collaboration and change. So here's the thing. We have friction, we have personality conflicts, we have disagreements, and our country and the world is super polar. And the world in which we live in is super polarized. There's no getting around that. This is not about changing who you are. This is not about changing who other people are, but about how you can have less conflict with the people that you work with. First, let's take a deep breath. Let's exhale first. Because I bet that intro probably stressed you out thinking about that person and what you're now going to be forced to do. And here's the reality. We are set up to think the way that we think from a very early age. In fact, by the age of 7, our subconscious has its cup filled with all of the belief systems that it wants to hold on to. And then our conscious comes in and it's either going to accept or reject those new thoughts, those new belief systems. And so if somebody is coming in that is directly opposed to what you believe, guess what? You're going to reject them. You're going to reject that thought. But I want to give you some tools to not necessarily change, but to leave an opening. Because here's the thing. What we need to remember is people are not all one way. Unless you are some narcissistic sociopath, psychopath that like murders entire towns. I don't think that's who you're working with, but we can find some good in people. And so I want to challenge you to find 10% of good. And this is actually one of these amazing tools that I learned in positive intelligence around innovation, is to find the 10% that you agree with in what someone's saying, in who they are. Can you think of 10%? It might be that, you know what, they're showing up to work. It might be, hey, they've got a family too. Hey, they like similar music. By giving ourselves and our brain that task of finding something that is in a positive direction, it creates a new lens. Because whatever job we give our brain to do, it's going to look for evidence. So if I'm saying, I don't like Joe, Joe is so annoying, guess what I'm going to do all day long? I'm going to look for all the reasons that Joe sucks. I'm going to look for all the evidence that I want to hate Joe, and I feel so vindicated and self-righteous about it. But imagine if we could find that 10% and what we would do with it. Maybe Joe really cares about this project, but we might be coming at it from 2 totally different angles. So imagine if we could start with that. Like, hey, Joe, I see you're really passionate about this project. Can you walk me through it? If we start with, I don't like your idea, we're immediately on the defensive and it's all about our agenda. So Joe probably doesn't like us either. But if we can create that neutral space where we're trying to understand, where we're finding common ground, we can then build off of that. But if all we're looking for is the flaws, the deficiencies, the issues with people, that's all we're going to focus on. And that's what the person is picking up. This is not a one-way street. What you think and what you say and what you do exudes out whether you say it or not. Because I guarantee you're talking smack to your colleagues. You might be rolling your eyes. You might be huffing and puffing. You might be doing a lot of things. You might be tapping your pen really fast. You might turn your camera off on a Zoom. So people are picking up signals and they're going to become more self-protective and defensive in return. So if you've ever felt that way, you now know how it feels. And empathy and compassion is one of the best superpowers that we have as human beings. And when we can apply it to other people, even when they feel super difficult to us, it allows that door to open. Now, whether or not the other person comes through that door is up to them. But what we have done is created that safe space. And the key here is to be consistent. So checking yourself, looking for the 10%, starting with the 10% of agreement before you respond. That's the way to deal with challenging personalities, to deal with difficult people. And there are no difficult people. It's people who are probably having a hard time themselves. So the more that we can create that compassionate space, it allows people the opportunity to shift when they're ready. So this is probably not the advice that you thought that I was going to be giving you, but honestly, it's the advice we all need to hear right now because everyone's going through it. We are stressed out. People are like at their wits' end. I talk to clients all the time and I feel like I'm talking them off the ledge, not literally, but they're stressed out and they're feeling like, what do I do with this? What's my next step? So imagine if you could be a non-stressful space in someone's day that they could actually look forward to. And think of the person as like, what would this look like if this person was my ally and not my adversary? How could that change things for you? Because fighting all day long, judging all day long is freaking exhausting. And the only thing you can change right now is yourself. You can model the change you want to see. You can create safe spaces and you can set the stage for something new to happen. You can create a new future vision. But if you do the same thing, you're going to get the same result. And if you expect something else, we know what that is. So think about how you can be an active contributor to create safe spaces, especially when you are working alongside a project with someone that you had friction with. We want to find those common overlaps, start with that and build off of that. That's where foundations of trust are built. We can't just jump in and think that we've got it, but it is a gradual process that you can absolutely do. But it first starts with finding that 10%. You know what? Try it with your mother-in-law. Try it with a family member that you're just super challenged by. Where is that 10%? What do you have in common? What do you agree with them on? What's the thing you respect them for? Start with the good and build off of that. Maybe you can get to 20%. Hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Feel free to subscribe if this was helpful. Pass it along to a friend, and y'all keep being awesome.